And first of all, introducing to you for the red corner. From G4 in Auckland, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Pelea Fruean. And their opponent in the blue corner, coming down of Hamilton from Maggie's Boxing Gym, put your hands together for Cara Wharerau.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ANZAC Super Series 5, New Zealand versus Australia, 28th of July in Auckland, New Zealand at the ABA. With you today, Isaac Savage and the man himself, Shay, Mr. Business Brock. Welcome along today.
Nah, it's good to be here, man. It's always good to have a chat with you, have a chat alongside the Savage man himself.
Hey, and speaking of, well, Savage or fights today, this fight, Joseph Parker's cousin, Pelea Fruean there in the red in New Zealand, Cara Wharerau there in the blue. Although this isn't an Aussie, this is a New Zealand matchup. What a matchup it is. This is worthy of a main event, Shay.
Yeah, well, the red corner, it seems like there's a bit of spotlight on her. I mean, Joseph Parker's cousin. She's even got the dream team, Rex Jenkins and Billy Meehan in her corner. So, but I've seen Cara fight before. Well, I guess we'll let the girls speak for themselves.
Always love. It's an observation I've always seen of Cara. She's got this look on her face, you know, like a sort of smile look of like she's so happy to be there.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy to watch because, you know, it's with such a pugilistic sport.
Yeah.
She looks more than happy to be there, whereas other people would be almost wanting to run at the ring. But she loves being there, and what a fight we're going to see today because these girls are such high skill levels. Pelea being much younger, but an up-and-comer versus, I wouldn't say not a veteran by any means, Cara Wharerau. Just a more experienced boxer, probably a bit more ring time.
Yeah. Well, it is deemed the exhibition belt, this one.
Hey, still though, we're seeing some exhibition fights go, I wouldn't say haywire, but, you know, they go or play for keeps at times. And although that no one maybe, you know, leaving nothing for the road home in this fight, it's still going to be a nice fight to see where both ladies are at in that sense.
See the difference in pace in this fight as well. You know, I think it's a lot more mature approach to.
I was just about, you read my mind there. I was just about to say, you did, mate. You did, because, you know, you're talking about the fights earlier. They just come out guns blazing, frantic. This is sort of more like one of those pro fights where they're feeling each other. But just as we say that, they turn up the heat, mate. They're getting into second gear now. We're only in the first round.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Even though it's a slower pace, it's still very calculated, and everything they're throwing is, you know, is worth something.
Look at that, Cara Wharerau throws the jab out or even leaves the hand out. Find their range, then followed by a right. Beautiful how she backs off the ropes and then still throws. Maybe a little bit of experience there, using things that Pelea Fruean may not be used to. But you can't fault the skill level there of Pelea Fruean as well.
Beautiful footwork and ring craft there from Cara Wharerau as well.
I love it how she steps back and then throws the right. Back to the corners. They're getting more. I mean, like you said, this is an exhibition fight, but it seems like a little bit more than that, Shay. I mean, yeah, I know there's going to be no winner declared, but they'll both know who's the better fighter at the end of this fight.
Yeah, even regardless, you're still getting in there and you're displaying like yourself. You know, you're putting yourself out there. You don't want to be coming up short in front of everybody. I mean, I've done the mistake in the past in an exhibition fight, coming out assuming it's a sparring bout and then getting a bit of a, you know, getting a few shots that shouldn't have got caught with in the first round. You know, quick wake up.
Oh, Shay, I can't comment on how many fights I've seen that are meant to be exhibitions that have turned into even KOs. You know, you don't know what the other guy or woman is thinking. They might, everything might be on the line. You know, they might have everybody watching. Kudos, bragging rights. And today, like I said, we're going to know, and they're going to know in their mind, who would actually perhaps win in a real fight after these three rounds.
It could be a future matchup. And it's funny that you mentioned that. It kind of reminds me of when you're at the gym and your sparring partner says, "Oh, we'll just do some light rounds, eh?" And then they come out like it's a fight.
No headshots.
Yeah, no headshots.
Hey, it always turns into, or it can at times turn into something like that. You know, you and Chad chop done a few rounds. I bet it gets like that sometimes.
Yeah, nah, I toast them up.
Talking of toasting up, this is great to watch. I mean, these girls, such a high skill level. New Zealand versus New Zealand. This potentially could be a future matchup. Take the headgear off, put a W up for grabs. Be a hard one to call.
I like the work of Cara. She looked very focused. Even though you alluded to, you know, maybe she looked a bit too happy to be in there. This is quite focused, and you can see everything's calculated. I like watching it.
She's a fighter too that fights well on the back foot. Like,
yeah.
She's not as aggressive as Leah, but she doesn't have to be.
Doesn't need to be. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. You can use your opponent's aggression towards them. So.
And that's what we're seeing with the guys who get ahead, whether it be, you know, boxing, other sports as well, or more so the combat sports. The smarter fighters, you know, it leads to longevity.
Yeah.
Obviously health, etc. It's still a violent sport, but the smarter fighters, you know, get further. They can obviously prolong that career. And Cara Wharerau has been doing it a wee while now, but still got her wits about her and moving beautifully this afternoon. Just moving out the way of the jabs there. I'm loving the way Cara moves. However, Pelea Fruean, the aggressor, a few years younger, and you know this is more than an exhibition fight in my eyes.
I like the subtle head movement of Fruean. You know, it's just every now and then she slipped the jab and then come back with something else. I just think the work rate is just not enough at the moment. She's kind of sticking with Cara's work rate, where she maybe should pick it up a little bit to try upset her a bit.
It's interesting to see, you just picked up on that, Shay, that even though Leah's pushing the fight, Cara's controlling it, and she's sort of leading into the traps, but
that's exactly what it is. You know, Cara's setting traps, and well, Fraser's
she's chasing the carrot in a sense. But you know what we see too with these fights, if it is a pro or for the W, and it's longer rounds, the person that is on the back foot can at times get tired, clipped, and we see an aggressor winning. So, yep, this formula can work, but doesn't always work, does it, Shay?
Well, you see, she does find a bit of success when she does, Fruean, when she does push Cara up against the ropes. She does find a little bit of success when she picks up her work rate, but it's hard. It's hard to keep your opponent there when she wants to move all the time.
Good jab there from Cara, rocking the head of Leah just as we finish. The only reason I say that too, because you know, in a real fight they do that, just something at the end of the round that could rack up that extra point.
Yep. Well, there you go. I think it just mentioned, our MC just mentioned that this is kind of like, it's an exhibition because it's a warm-up fight for an international tournament that one of the girls have coming up.
All right, here we are, round 3, exhibition between Pelea Fruean there in the red and Cara Wharerau there in the blue. We're seeing an excellent display of skill, will, and you know, a young up-and-comer fighter versus a more experienced female fighter, Cara Wharerau. This is a great match. Even though it's exhibition, they are still throwing down, Shay.
Yeah. Well, like we alluded to earlier, you know, it's never really an exhibition, is it? When you get in the ring, it's never really an exhibition. You're never really sparring when you hop in the ring sparring, you know. You're still putting yourself out there, so...
Just as we're talking about Leah being the aggressor in earlier rounds coming forward, she just started using a bit more footwork, you know, a bit more ducking, weaving, showing a bit more swag. in that sense that we didn't see in earlier rounds.
Yeah. Well, there comes a point in the fight where you have to switch your game plan up, especially if that go forward style isn't quite working for you.
That's a sign too of an intelligent fighter. One,
Yep.
probably listening to the corner,
Yep.
and like you said, adjusting your style. And saying that, Cara
Yeah.
Wharerau's adjusting her style too, even though Leah is coming forward more aggressive, moving angles. Cara's evolving as the fight goes on as well.
Yeah, well, she just caught her with a beautiful 1-2. I think it might have even been a 2-1 straight down the pipe. Got the
Another right there.
Mouth guard out the mouth. Beautiful footwork as well, in and out.
We've talked about headgear too in earlier fights. At times restricting the eye movement. As you look at these the headgear on them today, though, it's quite
More open face.
Yeah, exactly. Not like the crash helmets that you mentioned in earlier fights.
Well, I think these are standard. I believe in amateurs they do have a regulation headgear that you're allowed to lose. Obviously, not allowed to be wearing the crash helmet headgears. Oh, right now we see the girls starting to mix it up a little bit, just as we were talking about crash helmets. Don't need a crash helmet with those shots that they were just landing.
Right hooks, left rights there from Leah, definitely being the aggressor in this round. Love it the way she sort of switched up, then moved back, then came forward. But Cara's still throwing those overhand rights, stepping back, but getting clipped a little bit there, you know. She knows it too, holding that guard up.
Yeah, a step back counter right.
I'm liking what I'm seeing now from Leah. Look at that.
Better go forward now from Cara. She's changed direction. Oh, just for a moment though.
Beautiful uppercut, but then Cara still through and hit her back on the right. Look at them throwing down.
Yeah.
So much for exhibition.
Yeah, well, here we go. And we see Fruean starting to have a bit of success now that she's letting her hands go.
Getting more comfortable, eh?
Yep.
And you know what it's like. Sometimes later in the rounds, you do get a bit more comfortable. You do start finding your rhythm, your pace.
Yeah.
Big body shot there from Pelea Fruean. Wow. That was a pretty hard one to call. I know.
That was good last round. A very competitive last round, and that was to watch.
Definitely switched up the heat, the pace,
and like you said, as the round progresses, you know, you get a little bit more confident. Confidence start moving around a little bit more.
Both girls will have a new level of respect for each other if they didn't have already, but it's a little bit different. There's difference too between having an exhibition fight here in the ring and then just doing, you know, open rounds in the gym.
Yep, absolutely.
Good effort there, and look forward to seeing both these female fighters fight again in the future and what lies ahead of them. Big future there for Leah, and Cara Wharerau still moving up the ranks here in New Zealand. I look forward to every fight she has moving forward.